Our people have a complicated history with our white neighbors, Americans and British alike. After the 7 Years' War, the British gained over 500 million acres in the Trans-Appalachian West, taking land away from the French and Spanish. To us, whom had been trading, dealing, and playing both the French and British traders off one another for decades, we were upset. The exile of French traders disrupted our economical situation. The British tried to rectify this problem by setting up a new regulation of trade. Instead of providing a solution, the British tried to create a monopoly as a way to export large prices. This caused a rift in our relationship with their people. One way in which the British then redeemed themselves was with the Proclamation of 1763, which created an Indian reserve out of the inland heart of the continent. The proclamation states, "Essential to our interests and the security of our colonies, that the several nations of tribes of Indians with whom we are connected and who live under our protection should not be molested or disturbed." This pleased our people, who feared the invasion of our homes and land. With the proclamation, the British were trying to avoid further fighting between us and white colonists. The American colonists were upset by the British actions. Their people were experiencing a population boom, and the proclamation limited their ability to move into what they considered open land. Many Americans didn't listen to their British fathers and decided to illegally move into our territory anyways, against the wishes of both our people and the British. Although we now had reason to be friends with the British, we had reason to be enemies with the American settlers. Although some of us tried to stay peaceful, many of our tribesmen took to attacking the American settlers. Misguided, the colonists took vengeance on the Indians that had nothing to do with the uprisings, causing even more widespread violence between our people, and the War of 1760 to 61 was a result. As a result of the war, another boundary between our territory and the Americans was established in the South. The tribesmen of the Cherokees negotiated. In the North, the tribesmen of the Iroquois did. But inner conflicts with other Indian tribes left most of us, the Ohio Indians, angry and unsatisfied with the new negotiation. The Iroquois tribesmen believed they had the right to speak for us Ohio Indians, as our tribes didn't want to directly challenge the Iroquois. The Iroquois, looking out for their best interests in negotiations, gave away much of our land, what constitutes much of present-day Kentucky. Our tribesmen now had reason to dislike the colonists and the Iroquois nation. We formed an anti-British league and called the Iroquois slaves of the white people. The colonists took the new treaty as a sign that they were free to settle in Kentucky, our land. Meanwhile, an ambush on settlers by the Cherokee tribesmen resulted in the colonists blaming our tribes for further violence. Unprovoked attacks in 1773 on our people from angered colonists left many Shawnee and Mingo tribesmen dead. Our people wanted vengeance on the attackers, but even though our tribes had been overlooked by the colonists and British and abused by the Iroquois, many of our leaders called for the preservation of peace. Unfortunately, the British and Americans saw this opportunity as a chance to expand settlement in the West and declared war. Again, our people were involved in battles against their neighbors. In one decisive battle against the Shawnee tribe, Shawnee leader Cornstalk agreed to give up even more hunting grounds in Kentucky to end the war. Not all tribes of our people were involved with the agreement, however, leaving many tribes angry at having been left out of negotiations and having lost even more land. So when George Rogers Clark entered the area with his Virginians, he was facing us, the Ohio Indians, with complicated and stressed alliances to the British, as well as deep vendettas against each other and the colonists for having stolen even more of our homeland. Our area was one of intertwined alliances and unsettled anger, making it a dangerous place for settler and Indian alike.